All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our GMC tweet of the night. This is from MLB. Andrew McCutchen pulled up to the game today wearing a signed Willie Mays jersey. You can see right there, Giants number 24. Andrew McCutchen had an opportunity to put some runs on the board here today, and he didn't do it in the fourth inning, grounding into inning-ending double play with the bases loaded. But, we honored Willie Mays a little bit earlier this week. I think arguably the best player that's ever played the game. I think he kind of invented the five-tool player because of him, because he could do it all. He could hit with power. He could hit for average. He could run. He was the best defensive center fielder. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to see him other than highlights and documentaries. But still, for me, I think it would be tough to argue that he's not the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, and I think something that really makes you realize that, and maybe it's just the day and age of social media, is the immediate second that this happens, everybody has an outpour of love, and there's so many different stories from so many different branches of life whenever it comes to Major League Baseball or even outside of it. Even people in minor league baseball that I know that have never hit the majors when it comes to presidents or GMs of teams somehow had a memory with Willie Mays. And I just think that that's so incredible, the impact that somebody could have from just how good they are at this game and how inspiring they are at this game. And Steve Blass, he actually told us here at News Radio KDKA, he said he was definitely one of the best players that I ever had the opportunity to pitch against. And it was just an incredible honor. Yeah,
I learned how to basket catch because of him, because I played center field and wanted to be Willie Mays. Obviously, not quite as good. But Andrew McCutchen had a great story about him, too. Willie Mays refers to Andrew McCutchen, referred to him as Pittsburgh. So he told a good story earlier this week. All right, we're going to get out to the phone lines now. We're going to go out to Tom out in Penn Hills. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks for calling.
I just wanted to mention a fact about Willie Mays that I haven't heard anybody say. When he played in San Francisco in Candlestick Park, if you remember, they estimate that he lost between 30 to 40 home runs in his career with that wind blowing.
Yeah, you know what? I learned that in that documentary. It's a tremendous documentary. Suzie, I told Filipponi earlier this week on the show that I watched that documentary on my way back from Mexico on a Southwest flight. They had it. Obviously you could watch it, and I was in awe of some of the stories. And that was one of the stories, that the wind was so bad at Candlestick that he lost potentially 5 to 10 home runs a year from playing that. So Tom was right in Penn Hills. He could have hit 700 home runs.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I'll have to check it out. You'll have to give me the name of that, because I was not aware that that was out there for us. Is that on Netflix?
I don't know what it was. It was on, I think it's Amazon Prime, but I'll have to look it up. But it was the Willie Mays documentary. I think it was shot a couple years ago, but it was one of the options that you could pick on one of the in-flight movies. But it was solid. It was 2 hours. It was really good. Let's go out to Jim out in Blawnox. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, Suzie and Rich. Why would anyone be foolish enough to believe anything that Bob Nutting says? He said the same thing in the off season, that they were going to add and yada, yada, yada. I think lying for Bob Nutting is like swimming for a shark. If he doesn't lie,
yeah, Jim, I hate to laugh. I've interviewed him a bunch of times. And look, I know a lot of people feel the way you do, and you want to believe what he says, but it just doesn't happen. Every year he says that they're going to spend money when they're close. Well, we're going to see it. He just said it within the last couple years that if they have a team that's competitive, they're going to go out and do what they have to, and money really isn't an object. And today he throws around the word payroll, and that really makes me think like, oh, yeah, he's not going to do it. Why are we believing this guy? I think totally, Suzie, not to go off tangent here, I think he's lost the entire fan base. I really believe he might be the most hated sports figure in Pittsburgh by fans.
I definitely can't disagree that people do dislike him, but I think that maybe with what we're seeing from Paul Skeens, the hope that we're seeing from him and Jared Jones, even the deal they gave Mitch Keller this year, Brian Reynolds last year, maybe we need to start believing it a little bit, because maybe this organization really is going to be able to produce what they wanted to, what they set out to do 5 years ago. And maybe the fruit of the loom is going to be popping up here now, and Bob Nutting's really going to prove us wrong. I'm not sure. Like was it Tom who just said, why believe anything that he says? But right now, it's that really, really close wild card race. So why wouldn't he splurge when he knows his pitching staff is really solid? This is the most solid that it's been probably since Garrett Cole, Jameson Taillon, and that whole crew, 8 years ago at this point, 6-7 years ago. So this might be the time for him to really invest and really get the city behind him again.
Yeah, I think we're talking about like 2015, 14, that era is when they had a decent pitching staff, and other names like, A.J. Burnett, and, they had a bunch of guys that year that, but I think this potentially could be a little bit better, especially the top three. And I'm excited to see what Jared Jones does tomorrow, because he struggled in, 2 of his last 3 games. So let's go out to Vaughn out in South Hills. How you doing, Vaughn?
Hey, how you doing, Rich?
Good, thanks for calling.
Hey, yeah, and thanks to Suzie, too. I just want to thank you for letting me on. I just want to give a shout-out to you. I didn't know you were a Pitt graduate.
Yeah.
And
H2P.
And the other thing I want to give out to, and the other thing, too, I want to give out to, on a lighter note, which I think we all need this week, is the movie Rudy. Tony was beating you up the other night about Notre Dame.
I know.
Have you seen the movie Rudy? And then Willie Mays Hayes in the movie Major League.
Yeah, I mean, Major League was an awesome movie. So was Rudy. I mean, both all-time sports movies. I think it was like 5 years ago we did like a bracket of sports movies here, and I think they might have been in the Final Four. But yeah, both tremendous movies. And, getting back to the Pirates, they got a tremendous pitching staff. Hopefully they can have a tremendous lineup here in a couple weeks if they could go get some bats. Let's go to Tom in Crafton. How you doing, Tom?
Good evening, Rich and Suzie.
Thanks for calling.
You're welcome. Bob Nutting, he's a nickel and dime owner. He's not going to do anything. Richie, you remember back in, was it 2014-15, after the Pirates won 98 games, he cut the payroll.
Yeah.
They didn't move forward like they were supposed to.
That was 16.
And this lineup, these guys, they couldn't hit their way out of a wet paper bag, to coin an old phrase. It's just they have no power. I think Andrew McCutchen, is he their home run leader, I think, right now? Sawinski is such a disappointment. By the way, did you hear today there was a rumor? Of course, it's not going to happen considering it's Nutting. The Oakland A's center fielder, I can't remember the guy's name. They said he is available. They were throwing out Sawinski's name. I don't know if you heard anything
saw that
about
Lee over Peguera and Sawinski for him. JJ, right? So I think, look, yeah, if you can get a center fielder in the back, because they need a center fielder, that's an ideal trade to make. I'm fine with giving up on Sawinski and Lee over Peguero because they have a crowded infield already, and potentially they could draft another infielder this year. So I would do it. I would do something like that. You got to do something.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Honestly, I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I feel bad every time I say it. Jack Sawinski just doesn't impress me, and I don't know what it is. Every time I say that, though, the next game he goes out and he hits a home run. So there it is. Maybe I jinx him.
I bet you only said it 3 times because he stinks this year and he's batting 176.
Oh, no, trust me. I know I can't look at his batting average. I can't watch him try and field another fly ball. So I would be definitely okay with getting rid of Sawinski to try and get somebody better out there.
I think they misevaluated this lineup. They were hitting the cover off the ball in spring training. They looked good the first, 11 games of the year. And then now they've fallen off a cliff. And I think this is what they actually are. I mean, what they are the last 2 months.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was all about. I mean, spring training is obviously different. Not every team is using their best pitchers every day. They're giving prospects a chance against some major league lineups. They led spring training with 46 home runs. The power was there. And then through the first 11 games of the season, I'm pretty sure 8 of the first 11 games of the season, they were hitting double-digit hits. 8 of those 11 games. So where is that production at? Where is the power at? I'm not really sure where it teetered off at this point in the season, but I think you might be onto something. This might just be who the Pittsburgh Pirates are. This is their lineup. They are only consistent for 5-7 hits a game.
Suzie, I totally believe they might make some kind of minor deals, but I believe that they're going to bank on these guys turning it around, and that's going to be like their, quote, moves that they're going to make at the deadline. guys like O'Neal Cruz, they're banking on him getting his average up. Jack Sawinski, Key Brian Hayes, Henry Davis. If these guys can all hit, then you got a formidable lineup. I think that's what they're banking on. I would not be surprised. I don't think that they're going to make any kind of big time move. All right. I hope they prove me wrong, though. We got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes.